Hi, I'm Veronica and welcome to Jersey City Pilates. For today's class, you're just going to need a dish towel and that is all. And we will get started just sitting up nice and tall right here. So when you're ready, take your towel and you're just going to fold it in half long ways and then in half again so you have a nice long way thin folded dish towel. And then go ahead and grab onto it, but behind your back, just kind of fold it so that it's flat on your ribs, and you want it like essentially right where your bra, the band of your sports bra is around your ribs, and then just hold it by your sides, or you can like hold it against your body if the towel's a little short. And then just sit up nice and tall and take a nice big inhale. Feel your ribs reach back into the towel and also out wide to the sides. So all 360 degrees. And then exhale. Feel the towel sort of come towards itself in the front. And then another inhale here. And then exhale. Feel that towel drying. Really using the feedback of the towel to feel your breath going into the back ribs, the side ribs, so you're really breathing in all directions here. And then exhale. This time, or just take another normal inhale. And then exhale, feel your pelvic floor lift, feel your lower abdominal start to lift and connect. And then as you exhale, continue, feel the ribs close in the front. So 2 more like that. Inhale. Let the pelvic floor descend. Exhale, feel the lift and wrap through the abdominals and up the pelvic floor. 1 more time. And exhale. Good. And then bring your towel back around in front of you. Grab onto it however is comfortable and just start with your shoulders, or your hands rather, in line with your shoulders. Take a big inhale here. Keep thinking throughout the whole class that you have that towel wrapped around your ribs, and then on your exhale, keep those ribs connected. You're going to float your arms up overhead and then release back down. So keeping the lift of the pelvic floor, the connection through the ribs without holding your breath. And then lower back down. Good. Lift up again. And then lower back down. 2 more. Inhale up. Again, ribs stay nice and heavy. The soundtrack of a baby. And then 1 more time. Lift up. Pause with your hands overhead. If they're still in your peripheral view, that's totally fine. And you're going to side bend up and over to the right. Feel the lift through that left hand and the rooting down through your left sitting bone. And then come all the way back up. And then over to the left by reaching long out of that right hand. Relax your shoulders. And then back up. And over to the other side. The baby soundtrack is departing. And back up. Over to the right. Last one to each side. And over to the left. And then reach your arms up 1 more time. Reach them slightly back. Let your ribs come up if it feels good. Just take a nice big stretch. Relax your shoulders. And then lower your arms all the way down. Good. You're going to bring your towel towards one side of your mat. Doesn't matter which one. And you're going to come onto all 4s. Hands right underneath your shoulders, knees right underneath your hips. And then from here, just tuck your tailbone under, moving from the base of your spine, hips draw up towards your ribs, round your spine up towards the ceiling and drop your head. And then uncurl your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Feel the widening of those sitting bones, length through the front of your body. And then again, curl the tailbone under. Really try to see if there's anywhere where you kind of get stuck or feel like you might have a flat spot where you're not rounding or finding that extension. And then curl the tailbone under 1 more time. Ribs drop, or hips rather, drop toward your ribs. And then again, unfurl your spine. And then come to find yourself in a nice neutral spine here. And then you're going to let your sternum sink towards the floor as your shoulder blades come in towards one another, and then press up, feel them separate. And then again, let it slide down, shoulder blades slide in towards your spine, and then feel them draw away as all those muscles around your shoulder and armpit start to engage, and press up, keeping your neck nice and long. 2 more. And up, last one. Good. And then from here, bring your right hand behind your head. And then you're going to reach your elbow up towards the ceiling. Rotate, really press out of that left hand. And then rotate down towards the floor. You can rotate a little bit towards the left if that feels good. And then open up. Think about leading with that elbow, but keeping that hand connected to your head. And then release back down. One more time. Lift up. And then square, or come into your little counter stretch, and then square yourself back off. Other side, left hand behind your head, and then reach it up towards the ceiling, and then rotate towards the right. Keep pressing up through that right arm, really stretching through that thoracic spine. You may notice, maybe you're like me, you have way different range of motion from one side to the other. Last one. And then lower that hand down. Send your knees an inch or two back behind your hips. And then you're going to sit back towards your heels, right on your thighs. So don't bring your knees wide unless you need to. Find a nice stretch here. You can let your head drop towards the floor if you'd like. And then you're going to peel yourself up. Find a little length, almost like a modified push-up, and then send your hips over to the right, back down and around, just making a little circle here. You can add rounding of your spine as you come back, and then a little bit of extension as you come forward if that feels good. We're going to do 2 more in this clockwise direction. And then pause at the top. And then reverse, going counterclockwise. So round that spine in one direction, find a little extension if that feels good, or you can stay rounded, you can stay in neutral. Can't stay in extension the whole time though, that would be a little difficult. Last one. And then pause here, walk your knees underneath you. And now bring your knees nice and wide and sit back onto your heels. Walk your hands forward. And let your forehead gently rest on the floor. And again here, think about breathing into those back ribs. And exhale. And then walk your hands over to the right side. Really reach through that left hand, left sitting bone in opposition. And then walk back through center over to the left side, reaching through that right arm, right sitting bone. Good. Come to the center, and then come to sit with your towel in your hands. So you can have your legs planted on the floor slightly in front of you, or you can have your legs straight, whichever is more comfortable for you. And you're going to grab onto your towel, and you're just going to sit up nice and tall, and you're going to round forward over your legs. And then stack your spine all the way back up. So you have a little bit of tension on that towel. Wrists are nice and straight. You're going to think about peeling your spine off of a wall as you reach forward over a big beach ball. So your shoulders still stay connected to your body. And stack yourself all the way back up. Again, you can do this with long legs as well. Think about getting a stretch through that back and back up for a spine stretch. Round forward like you're coming over a beach ball so you're not collapsing onto your legs. And up, last one. Good, peel yourself all the way up. Keep pulling that towel gently apart, and then tuck your tailbone under. Think about staying tall through the upper torso, As you tuck your tailbone under, draw your hips towards your ribs and round halfway back, like you're gonna put your sacrum on the floor. And then reach forward with those arms as you curl yourself all the way back up. Lengthen your spine nice and tall at the top. Bend your knees anywhere you need. You can start with them bent and then straighten them as you go back. Really wrapping through the abdominals. Pelvic floor is lifted. And then stack your spine all the way back up. Make sure you're starting your breath before you go. And back. Good. And then round all the way up. Pause at the top. Have to turn my intercom off. Sorry. You're going to do one more time like that. One of these weeks I'll remember. Now you're going to come back and pause. Open through the upper chest so that you're not rounded forward. You're nice and wide through the collarbone. Tailbone is tucked. You're going to pull the elbows wide. Think about pulling your towel apart as you bring the arms in. And then extend long. And then pull the towel apart as you bring them in. Elbows can stay fairly high. And feel a little extra wrap through the abdominals as you bring the arms in for 3. Neck is nice and long. Head is just floating on top of your spine here. You can come back a little farther if that's comfortable, or you can do this sitting up completely tall. Last one. Pause with the arms long. You're going to lift the arms up and then press and deepen the abdominals as you lower. Lift up, keep it within your periphery, and then just down in line with the shoulders. And back up. Keeping a little bit of tension on that towel. Check in with the wrists. 3, 2, and last one. And then round all the way down, one vertebrae at a time. Really tuck the tailbone under. You might shake, just like my voice is currently doing. And then reach the arms up overhead. Good. Make sure you're all the way on your mat. If you're not, this way your head has somewhere comfortable to lay. Head is flat on the ground. Legs are long, but if you need to bend them, you can. You're just going to reach your arms back overhead, keeping those back ribs connected to the floor, only so far as is comfortable for you to get that. Continue keeping that connection, and then float the arms overhead. Exhale, press. Good. So now you're going overhead, and you're stopping in line with the shoulders. 3 more. 2. And last one. Pause with the arms in line with your chest. You're going to bring the right leg into tabletop, extend it up towards the ceiling. If you want to bend your left leg, you can. You're staying in a nice neutral pelvis here. You're going to bring your right leg out, around, and up. Out, around, and up. Good. Keeping your pelvis nice and stable. Again, you can do this with a long leg. I find I have an easier time with my leg bent. Staying connected. Back ribs are dropped. 2 more in this direction. Last one. Pause at the top and reverse. And reverse. And reverse. 3, 2. Femur is heavy in that hip socket. Last one. Bring that knee in. You can just grab it with the towel. Give it a little hug. Extend the left leg long. Good. And then either extend that leg or plant it on the ground. Bring the left leg up into tabletop and then extend it long. Again, keeping the arms right over your shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades drop towards the floor and then circle out, around, and up. Your knee can be bent to do this, either a little bent or all the way bent. Whatever you choose, just make sure that 1, it's intentional, and 2, you're keeping it that way. 3 more. 2. And last one in this direction. And then reverse. 3. 2 more. Last one. Good. Bring that left knee into your chest, grab onto it with the towel, and extend your right leg long. Reach through the heel or the toe on that right side, get a nice stretch to the hip flexor. Good. Plant your feet on the ground now. Both feet. Hands are still above your shoulders. And now you're just going to reach up towards the ceiling, feel your shoulder blades separate away from the floor, and then feel them drop down and be nice and heavy. And then reach and feel them separate away from the spine. And then as they slide towards the spine, gently, not squeezing in, just drop those shoulders into the floor. Lift and drop down. 2 more. Ribs stay connected. Last one. Good. Arms stay here. Now we're going to do a little pelvic tilt. So you're going to tuck the tailbone under. Feel the pubic bone lift towards the ceiling. Low back drops into the mat. And then release into your neutral pelvis. So you have that teeny bit of space. And then curl the tailbone under. Hips draw up toward your ribs. And then lower back down. 3 more. Good. Finding a little stretch, a little length in that low back. 2. Make sure you're lifting the pelvic floor as you're doing this. Good. Hold yourself in a scoop. Now you're going to drop a little bit of weight, almost like you have sand, plate of sand on your pelvis, into that right hip, into the pubic bone, so you get a tiny little arch, over to the left hip bone, and then back into that pelvic tilt. So we're doing a little circle here. You can either make it be nice and smooth, or you can do, each 4 points. Your choice. We're going to do 3 in each direction. So 1 more time to the right. I think that was a total of 4. Pause in that pelvic tilt. Really feel that length through your low back, and then over to the left. Pubic bone, right hip, and good. 3 more. Again, you can smooth this out if it feels good. And 1 more. From your scoop here, you're going to find a nice neutral. Let your pelvis just kind of find that steady space where it wants to be. Nice and flush on your sacrum. And you're going to lift the right leg into tabletop. Excuse me. Left leg comes to meet it. And you're going to let the arms fall overhead again. Legs stay still to start, and then bring it up. Arms overhead and legs in. 3 more. 2. Last one. Good. Pause with your arms in line with your shoulders. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Reach your towel towards your kneecaps. You're going to extend your left leg, and then your right, and then your left. Good. You can start to reach your towel a little bit closer towards your shins if you want to curl up a little bit higher. Really sliding those ribs towards your hips rather. Staying in a neutral pelvis. Arms are nice and long. Gaze is at your legs. 1 more time to each side. Last one. Good. Both knees bend in, and then lower your head. Lift that towel up. Good. From here, you can either leave your head on the ground, or you're going to lift it up. Your choice. Either way, you're going to glue your heels together and then externally rotate from the legs. You're going to extend the legs long to a 45-degree angle or higher and bring them back in. And again, you can have your head lifted here if you would like. 3 more. Good. 2. And last one. Keep those heels glued together, and now you're going to extend your arms and legs in opposition and then bring them in. And then arms and legs extend and bring them in. 4 more. Wrists stay nice and strong. Really glue the heels together to feel that connection through the inner thighs. Pelvic floor is lifted. Ribs are drawing towards your hips for 2. And last one. Good. Grab onto the shins or ankles with that towel, and then just do a little rock back and forth from one side to the other. Good. From here, plant 1 foot down on the ground and then the other. And then you're just going to bring the towel underneath your head. Okay. So from here, you're going to make sure that the towel is right at the base of your spine. Skull, not your spine. That would be very out of the way for you to grab onto. Okay, so it's right at the base of your spine, and then skull again. You're going to wrap it around your ears, and then have your elbows pointing up towards the ceiling, and then just hold onto that towel. From here, think about pulling the towel gently as your elbows come forward towards your hips, and you're going to curl that head, neck, and shoulders up, letting your head be heavy in the towel, really letting yourself focus on that nod of the chin, gazes at your thighs, and then you're going to release all the way back down, and then right at the end, you're going to end that little nod. So you're going to nod your chin, feel the crown of your head reach away, and then curl yourself up, sliding your ribs towards your hips, and then lower all the way back down one more time. And wherever your spine goes, your gaze goes. Good, so pausing at the top here, you're going to extend your right leg long on the floor. And then you're just going to drag it back in. And then extend it long. And drag it back in. Checking in on your pelvis, making sure that your hips are staying nice and square. And then pause with that leg long, and then you're going to reach so long out of the heel that it floats up. And then lower back down. Make sure your head is nice and heavy in that towel. Lift and float it back down. 3 more. 2. Think about lifting from the back of that leg. Last one. And then draw it all the way back in. Bring that leg up into tabletop. And now you're going to rotate over towards the right side and then square. And rotate towards the right and square. And if for some reason you need to drop the towel and come to your hands behind your head, or with your arms by your side, I guess by your side would be all the way over to the right. Either of these options, or any of these options rather, is totally fine. One more time to the right. Pause here. Check in on your abs, check in on your hips. If you're neutral, your hips are square. Staying twisted towards the right, extend your right leg long, bring it back in. And extend, and bring it in. 4 more. 3. 2. Chin is lifted off of your chest. Last one. And then bring it to the center. Lower your right leg down. Lower your upper body all the way down. Give your arms a second. Holding onto your head can be hard. It's heavy. And then you're going to grab back onto that towel. Make sure it is, again, wrapped around your ears. Elbows reaching up towards the ceiling, and then nod your chin, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up, and then extend your left leg long. And then drag it back in. Finding the back of the leg. Again, you can do this with your hands behind your head. Find that hamstring and glute connection. It's a little easier to find on the in than the out. And last one. Leave that leg long. From here, reach through the heel and then float that leg up. Really feel that connection through the lower abdominals. Think about a little string from the heel all the way up the inside of the leg, and from that inner thigh into your pelvis and all the way up even into your abdominals is engaged to help lift that leg up. Make sure your legs or your abdominals aren't puffing up towards the ceiling here. And last one. Pause with that leg long, bend it in. And now keeping that leg just in tabletop, you're going to curl up and over towards the left and back to the center. Think about your right rib going towards your left hip. It doesn't need to be big. For 4. 3. 2. And last one. Pause with your torso twisted. Really focus on right rib to left hip. Extend the left leg long and bend it in for 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And And last one, come back to the center with that torso, bend the leg in, lower it down, lower your torso all the way down. Bring your legs nice and wide on the mat, and then you're just gonna windshield wiper them here. Letting your low back get a stretch. Pause with your legs over to the right side, and then if it feels good, take your right foot on top of your left leg. And just think about reaching long through that thigh on the left side. Maybe you get a nice stretch here. Shoulders stay down. You're nice and square in that sense. And then on top, uncurl and over to the other side. And then again, if it feels good, now lift your left foot, put it on top of that knee, and then find that stretch through the right side. Good. Uncurl your legs. And then from here, you're going to roll over onto your right side. You do not need your towel here. And you can come onto your forearm like this with your legs out long. So you're going to have your legs ever so slightly in front of your hips, but your hips are stacked one on top of the other. Or you are laying all the way down on your side. Your choice. If you need, bend your bottom leg just a little bit. You can use that as a kickstand. And then you're going to reach long through your left leg, bring it in line with your hip. So it's not very high. And then you're just going to sweep it forward here. If you'd like to do the flex forward and the point to bring it back, go for it. If you just want to have your foot flointed, you do whatever works for you. And back, just making sure that those hips are staying stacked one on top of the other. And although you're laying down here, if you're all the way down on the ground like I am, think that you are standing. So you have that connection. You're in a nice neutral spine, which means you're not arching. You're not hiking one hip, and to have your hips square, your ribs and shoulders also need to be square. So you may almost have like a little space underneath on that right side. And if you're on your forearm, you are not sinking towards the floor. You are lifted up through your rib cage. 2 more. Last one. Have your foot right in line with your hip, and you're just going to lift it up and back down. And lift it up and down. However high you're going is your choice, but that hip is not hiking up towards your left rib. For 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. You're going to bend your top leg and plant it on the floor and extend your bottom leg long now. And then think about reaching and getting a little bit of opening through that left knee. It doesn't need to be crazy open, but just don't let it collapse all the way down. And then reach long through that bottom leg, and then you're going to think about drawing the inner thigh almost up into your pelvis, and then release it back down. And then draw it up and in. Similar to what we were doing a moment ago, laying on our back, lifting that leg just a few inches off the floor. Head is in line with your spine, so you're not rounded forward like you're looking at your phone. 3, 2, and last one. Pause with that leg long, but not totally on the ground. Press into your left hand into the floor and extend your left leg long. You're going to lower your right leg all the way to the ground and then lift it to meet your left leg and then lower it down. So left leg is staying totally still in the air and down for 4. Make sure those abs are engaged. 3, 2, last one. Hold them together. You're going to lower both legs down and lift. And lower both legs down and lift for 5, 3. If the feet don't stay together, who cares? But think from the thigh, you only have one leg. 2. And last one. Good. Lower your legs all the way down. This is one of my favorites. I don't really know why, but I like it. So come all the way down onto your side if you're not there already. Extend your right arm all the way long and extend your left arm either all the way overhead or partially overhead. Your head is not lifted. Your head is relaxing on that bottom bicep. And you're going to lift both legs, press down through your left arm, and you're going to side bend up, lift up through the right side. and then lower all the way back down. So you're sliding your hand along the floor, you're engaging through the armpit and right side, as well as a little side bend on the left and up. These are bananas. 2. And last one, hold here. And then bend the knees in and lower all the way down. Good. Come up onto your forearm. You can have your bottom leg extended, or you can come into a full side plank or be on your knees, your choice. I'm going to be in a modified side plank here. You're going to lift your hips up. Find that nice side plank. You're lifted from the bottom ribs like someone's pulling you up from the top. Extend your arm up overhead and get a nice side bend to start. Everything just cracked. And then reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. And then you're going to tap your hips down and lift. And tap it down and lift. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one, pause at the top. And then you're going to let your arm come just in line with your shoulder and then reach it up. And let it come in line with your shoulder and up. 4 more. Feel those ribs closing, the abdominals engaged. Hips are facing forward, not up towards the ceiling. Last one. Reach overhead, get one more nice side stretch here. And then lower all the way down, have your legs over to the left side, be nice and bent, and then reach up through the right arm and side bend up and over. Roll your wrist out if you need, and then come over onto the other side. So again, forearm or all the way down on your side, your choice. Either way, you're connected. So the hips are stacked one on top of the other. The bottom leg can be bent slightly. Right hand is pressing into the ground. Lift that right leg now just to hip height. And you're going to sweep it forward and sweep it back. Finding the extension and then the flexion through that hip without finding extension and flexion in your back. Think about controlling the movement from your hamstring and your glute. So more or less right where they meet, like an inch up or down from there, rather than your foot. You may find you have a little bit more control that way. 1 more. Good. Find that leg in line with your hip. You're going to lower it down and then lift it up to whatever height is comfortable for you. Again, keeping those hips nice and square. No matter how tired your legs are before you start doing this, they're always more tired after. Even if they're not tired, it feels like you've run a whole bunch. At least for me. I don't know why. 2 more. Good, last one. And then plant your leg on the ground somewhere in front of your bottom leg. Again, hips are still square, and that knee is more or less open, but play with the distance as you need. Press into the ground with that left, or right hand rather, right foot. Float the left leg up, and then release back down. And float it up and down. Abs are drawn in. If you need, roll back slightly onto the meatier part of your butt if being on your hip is uncomfortable. You can also always fold your mat in half, or you put the towel underneath you. I didn't say that on the other side. 2 more. And last one. Good. Leave that leg slightly lifted off the ground. Extend the right leg long. Again, find where you need to be balance-wise, where your legs are in front of you. Lower the bottom leg, lift it up for 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, both legs together, lower down and lift. And lift. 4 more. 3, 2. Last one. Lower the legs all the way down. Extend the bottom arm long. Extend your top arm all the way overhead or partially overhead. press that hand into the floor, and you're going to lift up in that little side bend. Again, come back onto the meaty part of your butt if you need, and then lower all the way down and lift. And you can say banana in the most ridiculous voice you possibly could want to, if that helps you get through this. 3 more. Abs draw in, starting your breath before you lift. Last one, come up and hold. Bend the knees, lower all the way down, and then you can reach overhead for a second if you need. When you're ready, come onto that forearm and find your side plank of choice. Reach up through the right arm, lift through the hips into that side plank, and then take a nice stretch to start. And then find your arm right over your shoulder, dip your hips, and lift. Again, everything is lifting away from the floor. Even as you lower down, you still have that lift through the rib cage. You're not collapsing through the hips. 2 more. Last one. Reach the arm up overhead. Take a nice stretch. And then come down onto that side. Legs off to the right and side bend over your legs. Good. From here, you're going to come onto your stomach. If you have a drink, move it out of the way. And then you're going to put your towel on the ground in front of you. And then you're going to lay down with your face just off of the towel. And then extend your arms long. So you can either just crumple up the towel, or if you have nice, like, slippery surface, like wood or tile floors, that works great. Either way, you can just use your hands to slide. It's a little easier than the rubber mat. Forehead comes onto the ground. Reach your arms long, but just make sure that your shoulders are gently externally rotated and you have space between your ears and your shoulders. So they're not all scrunched up. They're externally rotated. Press down into your hands. Help find the underside of your armpit. Your neck is nice and long, and then your pubic bone and your hip bones are gently pressing into the floor, finding a little bit of length, not extension, through that low back. So you're in a nice neutral pelvis here. Abs and ribs are drawing in towards one another. Press down into the floor. Float the head up, lengthen through the crown of the head as you slide your arms towards you and your chest through your arms. And then reach long through the arms and slowly lower all the way back down. And again, press through the arms. Feel the engagement through the underside of the armpit, the shoulder as you lift. Gaze is more or less at your hands. And then lengthen all the way back down. Press down and lift. Hips are square. Pubic bone is pressing into the ground. Lower all the way down. 2 more. And this next one, you're going to lift and hold. Press down, lift. Find that length. Feel the connection. Lift of your abs away from the floor. Legs are nice and heavy on the ground. And you're going to float your right arm up just a few inches off the ground and lower down. Float your left arm up and lower. Keep reaching your chest through your arms. Pubic bone is heavy. And to the right. Trying to minimize that rock from one side of your hips to the other. If this is too much, just change what hand has more weight in it. Last one. Come up a little bit higher. Really find your most perfect swan that you possibly could. Chest is lifted. Neck is nice and long. And you can breathe here for 1 more breath. Pubic bone is really pressing into the mat. Abs drawing away. Ribs drawing towards one another. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Lower all the way back down. Make a little pillow for your forehead with your hands and shake your hips from one side to the other. Give them a rest. And then bend the knees so that the feet are flopping towards the floor, and then you're just gonna windshield wiper your knees from one side, or your legs rather, from one side to the other. Sort of just the flipped version of what we were doing earlier. One more time to each side. Good. Lower the legs all the way down. Press through the hands and round yourself all the way up. You can come back into a little child's pose or do a cat-cow, whatever feels nice. Good. And then you don't need your towel for the time being. You're going to come back onto all fours. And then from here, you're going to tuck your toes under. You're going to find length through the crown of your head and your tailbone. You're in a nice neutral spine. You're going to inhale. Exhale. Float those legs off just an inch or two off the ground. And then lower back down. 2 more like this. Exhale, lift. And lower back down. You can almost do a little sternum drop or scapula push-up before you lift, just to make sure you're nice and stable and steady through those shoulders, and lower all the way back down. From here, you're going to come up and you're going to pause. So inhale. Exhale, lift. Extend the right leg back behind you. Drop the knee on the left side. Right leg is still out long. You're going to bring that right knee in towards your right elbow and extend. And bring it in towards your right elbow. Feel the abdominals engage on that on your right side. Your obliques are really working hard here, even though that knee is down. Last one. Keep that leg extended. Inhale. Exhale, float the left knee up. You're going to bring the leg in. Keep that left leg hovering. And out. 3 more. 2, neck is long. Last one. Keep the leg long, lower the knee on that left side, uncurl the toes, walk your hands just a tiny bit farther away from your shoulders. Lower all the way down to the forearms, lift that right leg. Come up onto the hands, and then back down. Play with the distance of your hands from your shoulders as we lift and lower. 3 more. Your leg is like a little pendulum. 2. Last one. Bring that knee in underneath you. Sit back, shake your wrists out for a second if needed. Good. Come back one more time. Final set of bear planks for today. Curl those toes under. Inhale. Exhale, float up. And lower down. Lift, float up, and back down. Next time you're going to come up and pause. Good. Extend your left leg back. Lower all the way down. Keep those right toes curled under. Bring the left leg into your left elbow and extend. And bring it in and extend. 2 more. Last one. Leave that leg long. Inhale. Exhale. Lift the right knee. Bring the left knee to the left elbow and extend for 4. 3. 2. Staying totally still with your torso. Last one. Extend the leg long. Drop the knee. Uncurl the toes. And we're going to do 8 more of these little all the way down to forearm push-ups. And lift. Think about wrapping your elbows in as you lower down. And lift. Lower. Good. 5 more. 3. Make sure your weight isn't totally off to one side. 2 more. And last one. Good. Bring your left knee in, curl your toes under, find your last bear plank, walk yourself out into a full plank, or on your knees, either one. Tuck that tailbone under, lengthen through the chest. Take a breath here. Lift the hips to down dog. Bend the knees. Think about lengthening the chest and the back. Shake your head out. You can pedal the feet if that feels good. And then walk your hands back by your feet. And then hang here for just a second. Have your knees be extremely bent. Walk over to the left side. Reach back through that right sitting bone. And over to the left. Reach back through the left sitting bone here. Square yourself off. Bend the knees. Curl yourself up one vertebrae at a time. Your head will be the last thing to lift. Reach your arms up overhead. You can link your thumbs if that feels nice. And side bend up and over towards the right. Relax the shoulders. Really root down through that left leg. Come all the way up. Switch the thumbs if you'd like. Shoulders relax over to the left. And then come up nice and tall. Externally rotate through those hands. Press down and think about growing nice and tall. Feel your ribs wrap. The pelvic floor is just slightly lifted. And your arms can relax by your side. And you are all finished. Thanks.